Hi folks, welcome to the Sabres Reloaded. This is a video on this channel that's about just current topics within our organization and discussions that I throw out there. So I'm going to throw out a topic, guys, and I want your opinion on this. And I put grading the season on a scale of 1 to 10. And that's before this week. We've made it to the final week of the season and we're still alive. The odds are we're not going to get in. I know that. But how exciting is that for you guys? You know, if you were to grade the season 1 to 10, and yeah, you can throw at me, I'm disappointed about, let's say, you know, certain players. And no, just what would you grade the season on 1 to 10? You know, if I was to be honest, dead honest about what I've seen this year, the surprises I had, even though our power plays kind of, you know, eased out a bit, we're still a top 10 power play, but we were really top 3 for a lot of this year. And our offense was number 1 for half a season, at least 50 games about, before we took that also with that department. We're still up there. You know, we're still up there. Our numbers are going to be good when it's all said and done there. But what would you guys rate the season on 1 to 10? Just overall, when it comes to, I guess, improvement, expectation, you can throw that all in there. If I was to give you mine, and I'd be honest about, I'd probably say something like an 8.5, guys. I would probably say they overexceeded my expectation. Maybe not in the points department and the wins department, but in other areas. They surprised me this year. Yeah, they did. You know, I was pretty confident Middlestat would get 30, not 30, Middlestat. Skinner, I thought would get 30. You guys might recall I did that hot take video or whatever I called it. I had Cousins getting 30. I had Middlestat Skinner getting 30. I had Tage getting 52. Yeah, that was the number I had, 52. And I had, I don't know if I had Alex Tuck getting 30. I can't remember. I might have not mentioned him. I'd have to look back at it. I remember those. And I had Darlene getting over 70 points. And some of you thought I was a little mad with that one. You're right, I was wrong. He's going to get about 80. So, yeah, and I had Darlene winning the Norris. I did have, I believe, Owen Power or Jack Quinn winning the Rookie of the Year too, the Calder. So I think I had Owen Power, I believe. I'd have to look back at that video. I will do it and expose where I was wrong and talk about where I was right. And we'll just have fun with it maybe eventually. So I would probably give this an 8.5. I was very frustrated this year with our defensive play. I think most of us were. I mean, we go into these games, guys, and we know we're having a bad game. We just watching a game like, oh no, it's one of those nights, you know, that it's going to be a long night defensively, and we know it. You know, there was some very disappointing losses, like Boston having their way with us, like we were ragdolls, you know. So there was some very disappointing lot, but some very exciting moments, you know, like the Tage 5-goal game and the overtime win in Boston was sweet. I mean, there was some really, you know, last game was huge, you know, because we've been struggling with this team for years now, and we finally beat them. So that felt good. And they put a good effort out. They you know, that Carolina team showed up, man. They showed up to play, and we took it out. We took it on the chin and said, let's go. You know, we're not done. So I like the way this team has come back from the dead many times this year, where it looks like the season's just we're so used to this crash and burn thing happening, where we really only had it happen, I'd say twice. Down the stretch late in the season where we were 2-8-2 or 2-9-2. I think it was 2-9-2, right? We had that happen, and we were getting slammed in games, and oh God, it looked like we just weren't ready. But I think what happened with that, folks, is that was the Sabres' first time with experience with games under pressure, meaningful games down the stretch. And it was like they got beat up and they stood up and fought one more time. And that's what they're doing right now with 6-1-1. So, you know, they stood right back up and said this fight isn't over. So I'm happy with that. The 8-game losing streak, kind of the same thing. After we had that 8-game regulation losing streak, regulation losses in a row, the Sabres bounced back and played something like it was, I don't know, they went like 12, 14 games over 500 from that point on for a stretch till we had another nosedive and then bounced back again from another losing streak. So if we were to look at slumps, how did we bounce back from slumps this year? There, I would say a 10 on 10, guys. We were 10 on 10 in that department. Anytime we hit a bad rut where it looked like the season would collapse, the boys fought back every time. We're not used to that. We did that last year and we never came back, remember? We never came back from it. We went into a rut last year and then it turned into something like 6-18 or something. It was a long stretch and the season was done. Too many games that you're tanking. Not tanking, but tanking, So right now, yes, I've let go of the Connor Bedard dream. I really wanted a 3% chance. My God, what I'd do for that guy to be a Sabre. Oh, God. But I'll tell you what, whatever team gets Connor Bedard's winning the Stanley Cup eventually. Lucky franchise, whoever gets him. I just hope and pray it's not Montreal. I don't want Montreal to get him. So if I'm going to rate the season, 8.5. Disappointed with our physical play again. Physical play, it's like a 3 on 10 at best. 2 on 10. Guts, determination, drive, I'd say 10. Really. They had a lot of guts this year because they had a lot of adversity to face and kept coming back from it every time. So where we were as a ready team, ready to make the playoffs, probably a 5 on 10. That's about right, eh? 5 on 10. Because we had a good offense, but we were terrible defense. So it's like, that kind of thing. Our goaltending was soft, maybe a 4 on 10, really, But it's, it's nice to see them. And guys, I'll tell you one thing I'm pulling for, even if we don't get in. I'm pulling for us to be the last team eliminated before the season is over. Like I'm hoping that, if we're the last team out, and let's say it's coming down between, let's say, Pittsburgh's out all of a sudden, but we're in. I don't think it'll come to that, though, because of the games in hand, so it's probably not going to come to that, no. These are just things I was hoping for. Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I want to see the boys fight right to the end. That's all I'm hoping for this year. Just fight right to the end. Right to the very last minute of the last game. And then after that game is over, if it does happen, okay, and the odds are good it will, then what we do in that interview is hold our heads up, talk about how this team loves each other and how they're tight. And the next game we have to play, if there's, let's say, 1 or 2 more games left, we go out and we try everything to win. Everything we can to win those last few games. That's it. Especially the last home game in Buffalo. Fan Appreciation Day, right? So we want to make sure that on that game, we send the fans home happy, talking about what can be for next year. Because next year, it's new dreams, folks. We'll know, we'll be feeling it. We'll be feeling it. You'll see. You guys are going to be all into it. You watch. We're going to be talking about the draft. Doesn't matter where we draft. And don't forget, even if we're out of the Bedard thing, right, and we're number 12, 13, 14, 15, or 16, if we're between 12 and 16, it looks like where we're going to finish, okay, if we miss, then we have still a percentage of a chance. Really, it wouldn't be any lower than... we wouldn't be 14, 15, or 16. We'd be either 12 and 13 most likely, right around there. And, we'll have like a 2% crack at moving up 10 spots in the draft. There is that chance, which would be like kind of a gift. If it happens, I'd say we earned that this year. Of all the suffering we've done the last 10 years, we deserve that to happen to this franchise. I don't care how that would piss people off. They'd all be saying it's rigged. Oh, God, I know how people are going to go with that. So, yep. How would you rate the season, folks? Really, that is the question in this video. I would give it an 8.5 because of the effort. The effort was there. We had normal bad games. I don't want to throw that in there as, a reason to knock them down to totem pole on this. I'd give it an 8.5. A 10 would be getting in the playoffs, of course, but it's pretty damn impressive, guys, that we have 1 week left in the season, and we're still alive. And we had that bad stretch. We had that long-ass losing streak. We're still alive, For me, that's huge. All right, done. That's just my opinion on this one. I'll be checking the notes in this one to see what you guys rated. And put what you feel free to put what you feel, honestly, I'm just going 8.5 because I didn't expect to be such a good offensive team this year. I kind of expected our goaltending to be, I wasn't sure, you know. And the only reason I would be tempted to knock them down lower, maybe give them like a 7.5 or an 8, is because how terrible they were physically all year. But I got a feeling that that was the plan in the dressing room. I just got that feeling, folks, that Granato's teaching them at this point of the year, that he's nurturing this team like, okay, now guys, it's time to play physical. You know, maybe that's what's really going on with Granato. I'm hoping that's what's really going on and that we see a whole different team next year. I'm hesitant to believe it till I see it. See you in the next one, guys.